Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Junkyard Digs. Today we're going to be working on the Grand National again and seeing if we can restore that 14 pounds of boost it's supposed to have from factory. As well as working brakes and proper oil and properly operating shocks and suspension and this and that. We got a lot of work to do, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dig in and see what it takes to make this car a beast once again. There's a parade. Oh, there's a parade, and there's a kitten sprinting down the alley right now, just freaking out. Look at him go! In episode 1, we ran this car a non-boosted launch because I didn't have the brakes to hold it, and we did a 0 to 60 in 9.8 seconds instead of the factory 4.8. So we're leaving a lot of power on the table, and we supposedly only pulled 4 psi boost instead of the factory 14. And this has a bigger turbo, so it should be even more than that. With that being said, I'm sure we have 100,000 vacuum leaks, which are in turn boost leaks. So we're gonna have to go through and find all those, probably do sparks, plugs, and wires, and this and that, and them and those, and see if we can get this thing running better. But first, we're gonna go through the chassis and make this thing drive around better. It's sitting exactly where I parked it in part 1, and I have not touched it since then. But I have walked past it, and I've noticed that there's a 3-foot gas puddle under it for some reason, as well as this. Yeah, the shocks are junk. So let's get this sumbitch up on the lift and turn it into a beast once again. Alright, first things first, gotta get these back shocks off, get the new ones on. But before we do that, I want to say one little thing real quick. Did you guys know that only 39% of our viewers are subscribed? If you're part of that 61 other percent, please consider subscribing. And if you are part of the 39, please consider turning the bell on. It helps the channel out so that we can bring you guys more excellent content just like this. So please, consider subscribing. Probably the only YouTuber that's going to tell you that while standing under a car waiting to be crushed. Alright, Ben Pack, do your job and let me live. Didn't even move. Like, literally doesn't even move. I freaking love this hoist. Ben Pack, you guys are my heroes. That's a no-go right there. Had this even been a good shock, it would have immediately been a bad shock as soon as we started driving the car because of the rust in the shaft. The seal would have come up into this rust and it would have been game over. So if stuff's been sitting a long time, put some new shocks on. I think I gave $100 for all 4 corners from O'Reilly's. You can get them Rock Auto for probably like 12 bucks a piece if I had to guess. All right, there's our rears, time for the fronts. All right, well, put pads and rotors on the list. That is disgusting. Old shocks are out, new shocks going in. I can purge it first before we put it in. Tighten all that down, move on to the next thing. Alright, I'm going to hit the key. My buddy Phoenix is going to watch for any leaks that we might have, because I know there definitely is one. Good luck to you, sir. I'm not getting sprayed in the face.
Oh, found it.
Is that soft line?
Yeah, it's right there. There's a little pinhole.
4 or 5 feet of rubber fuel line will be good as new. Done deal. Still need to zip tie this out of the way, but here's our fuel line fix. Looks like the old return line must have popped at some point, so they put this rubber hose that ran here and around the exhaust and up over the starter and up over the oil dipstick and all this and that in there. Probably a roadside repair. So we're gonna put this in a much better location and get her back down on her wheels. Well, we'd be dumb not to do an oil change while we're under here, so we're gonna go ahead and do that too. Looks like I need to get brakes ordered, and that'll probably be, if I had a guess, in the next episode. Don't spill a drop. So it's got a newer oil pan gasket.
I saw that.
I don't know if it worked, but I don't know where all the oil's coming from. I'm assuming the valve covers, because it's the entire motor. Like, look at the transmission, it's black. It is the color black, and it's furry. It is so dirty.
At least there's no mice living in it.
They probably would have died. It's too much oil. All right, we have our new oil filter in, our new oil in, It's now time to take care of some of the more obvious boost leaks because even though the brakes are probably more important, we're kind of bored and we want to hear this thing make noise. So this right here is one I know of. As you can see, this boot is junk, so we'll replace that real quick. Basically, we're just going to keep going around and checking all these fittings to see what we can find. There's probably another one right there for boost leaks.
We got a screw in this one over here. Or something.
So we're going to go ahead and just kind of look this thing over and see what we can find for cracked boots. I did order a smoker, so I finally have one of those, and that'll be here next week. But for now, we can only see the obvious stuff. And all this is still just assuming that the wastegate operates.
Right.
Which it could totally not, and that could be where all our boost is going.
It moves, but it doesn't. Don't know if it's actually functioning.
Okay, got these hoses off here. Might have to do something about this gasket. I don't know what the hell this is. Probably some EGR or something, or...
Oh man, we got a Thugs in Harmony CD in here.
What?
Nice.
Sorry, not not EGR, but just a vacuum plate. The important thing is, I'm pretty sure that my vacuum gauge from the last video was hooked up to that one cracked boot I showed you earlier. So I'm gonna get new hoses on this, and then we'll see what happens. I might need to wipe it off. It looks like it's too dusty to... The rollers are slick.
We got volume 2 of Thugs in Harmony.
Let's see if it works.
A little D-germ.
Ooh, look at that. It's like a... Actually, though.
Not bad.
Oh, it worked. Got it. The hell is Thugs in Harmony? Let's see.
Oh, we got it.
It's got subs. Maybe. I can't get the trunk open. I won't be surprised if it's got a sub.
Try going through. Have you tried going through the back seat?
I
found the mouse nest.
Yeah, there's our stink right there, as well as in the headliner, I think.
Yeah. Let's just hope they don't jump out at us.
Like, look at that blue comb over there.
I thought that shape was like the end of a...
Oh. Someone had some fun in the back seat, but it turns out it's just a light bulb.
Oh.
Another mouse nest on it. This may be a destructive form of getting in the trunk when we could just ask the owners for the keys, but we're also getting all the mice nest out. So it's worth it in the end because they'll have a cleaner car.
Bunch of shit back there.
Is there?
Yeah.
Good stuff? Parts? Boost leaks?
Got a 3/8 or half-inch drive ratchet.
Ooh.
Hub caps, center caps.
Hey. Do you think you can squeeze through one of those holes?
You might be surprised, but I probably could.
Hey! The trunk's open! What's up, man?
Hey, what are you doing? Oh, there's the dead mouse.
Oh my god, look at that thing. Wait, hold that up again. Dude, that thing is straight mummified. I'm impressed. I could never do that. There's no way in hell. There's the original center caps. The guy said, by the way, he said he had the original rims, and they are... I did lay eyes on them. He does have the original Turbo 6 Grand National rims.
Ooh, some leopard print belt. I'm just not gonna touch that.
So I know the daughters who drove this car are watching this right now. We didn't see anything. This is from 05, so that kind of confirms the 15 years. I guess now we'll break out the shop vacs and see what we can do about cleaning up some of this mouse nest. Try to get the essence of booty ass out of the car. Okay, so when it comes to diagnosing systems on EFI cars, they are, in essence, the same as carbureted cars where everything is metered by vacuum or controlled by vacuum. But instead of the fuel input being controlled by vacuum, they are fuel injected, so it's controlled by a pump and a computer. However, everything else is still ran off of vacuum, such as the fuel regulator, some of the HVAC controls, your brakes, except for this one. An important tool to have for testing components on fuel-injected cars is a vacuum pump. This is usually used for like bleeding coolant systems or stuff, but I like to use it for testing components on fuel injection. See, I can pull 15 inches of vacuum on this pressure regulator and no fuel comes out, so we know that that thing is good to go. Fun fact, I actually started my endeavor of working on cars with fuel injected cars from the 90s. I had a 98 Mustang that I built up all really nice like, then got rid of because it was an auto V6, but that's a different story. I'm actually an EFI guy turned carburetor, so should be able to get this thing running, no problem. With that being said, I fixed a couple more vacuum leaks I found here and there. I'm just gonna keep going through, seeing what I can find that I know is visually incorrect, and fixing it. And maybe cleaning this mass airflow sensor. Actually, you know what? Now's a good time to mention something. I used to have a list back in the day for any 90s car I would have got that I went through and did this exact list to make them run better. It was new plugs, clean the mass airflow sensor, clean the throttle body, new PCV, new cap and rotor, new plug wires if necessary, sometimes a new thermostat if it's not working correctly, and usually a new temperature sender, because that is what controls mostly the fuel curves in the engine, is the engine's temperature. So I would go through, do all of those basic things in any OBD1 or early OBD2 car, and usually they run really, really good after that. So if you pick up a 90s car that's been sitting for a while, do that list and life will be pretty good. So we got our math off, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. It must be some old, rudimentary, old school stuff. Instead of an actual airspeed sensor up there, it looks like it just has a resistor. Granted, they look similar, but there's this whole circuit board. I'll do some Googling and see what I can do to get that guy clean. In the meantime, Phoenix is taking off our charge pipe.
Look at the oil in there.
Yeah, we're trying to clean up the throttle body, but this charge pipe, and therefore the intercooler, is full of oil. Which, that's all before the PCV, so only way that's going to get there is if the turbo bearings or seals are bad and it's blowing oil into the motor. Fun stuff. Might need a turbo after all. I did notice it does wiggle a little bit.
Needs a bigger one.
Put 100 mil on it. That's already a sizable turbo.
Yeah, I was trying to look for some numbers on it, but I couldn't.
It's a Garrett. Oh, here we go. What's this? Looks like a Garrett M24.
Yep.
Or is that? I don't. What's a millimeter? We're gonna do what we can to try to get all this cleaned up and then get this back together. We should probably take that intercooler out because I've noticed it's also jam-packed. Like the actual fins are all gross.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it wouldn't hurt to blow it out and clean it.
Oh, you got the PCV out.
Yep. We need a new one.
So this is a little fun fact of information. PCV valves are meant to be replaced often. Usually every third oil change I will throw one of these in, and every oil change, or even between oil changes, I will take this out and blow it out with brake clean and get it to flow better. On Power Tour in 2019, I put a brand new one on that Oldsmobile, which was like really finely tuned. We had that thing within 0.2, just perfection on that carburetor. Huh. And we were driving around, I'm like, we're lean today. What the hell's going on? Took this off, sprayed it out, got some carbon and stuff out of it, got some shit out of it, and we were back to where we were supposed to be on our O2 gauge. So replace these often. No one does it. It needs to happen. These are essentially a controlled vacuum leak, and when that controlled vacuum leak becomes uncontrolled, it's a vacuum leak. I don't know if I have one of these here, so we're going to try to clean it out and see how it performs. And then after that, if that doesn't work, we'll go get a new one. All right. Clean that out with brake clean. Yeah, nasty. You can already hear the difference. I shook it a little bit when I was talking earlier, but that is way easier to move. Intercooler ready to go?
Yep.
Ooh, that's nasty. Dude,
No
it's
cool air.
completely plugged.
I can't even see through it.
Nuh-uh. This is an intercooler. This is just an expansion chamber for boost. That's all this thing's doing. Holy crap.
Garrett charged air cooler. It's gonna be an air heater at this.
Garrett heat sink. Alright, let's get this sumbitch cleaned up. This is like the third pass with them. I don't know what the hell is leaking so much
oil in that engine. It is crazy. Like this is in front of the whole motor and it's just nasty. Look at the amount of crab coming out the backside. Holy cow. Alright, there's the can. Let that sit and just keep going over and over and over again until it finally moves some air. After an amount of cleaning, we have a cooler that you can see through. And that is what we want right there. So, that guy's ready to go back in. We've got all of our charge pipes cleaned up. We're going to reassemble this and hit the key and see if it runs any better.
Make boost.
Make boost. So we have everything back together. I'm going to reach in there and hit the key. We did disconnect the battery to do some troubleshooting on a couple things, so our ECU has been reset. It will need to relearn, but we fixed at least 4 vacuum leaks and cleaned the intercooler out and cleaned the mass airflow, as well as the throttle body and this and that and them and those. So, in theory, this thing should run a lot better now. Let's see what it does. They just crank forever. Better.
It's idling, really.
Oh, that's so much better. Oh yeah, we're back. That's more like it. That runs 1,000 times better. Like it's smooth now. Oh dude. This thing might be sorted. There's our closed loop idle. Nice and low, smooth. Way, way better.
Idle is perfect.
Should we take it for a spin?
Oh yeah.
So last time we pulled 4 pounds. We'll see what happens this time. Oh, dude.
Oh, the shocks are nice.
Oh, wow. This thing handles. Whoa, okay. This thing handles.
Oh, that guy didn't stop.
Still don't have brakes. Yeah, nope. Both legs. Still only 4 PSI.
Huh. I can't. It feels quick though. Like,
It's not bad.
It's a little surprising.
For an old car, it ain't bad, but I don't know where our boost is.
That boost gauge is hardly even doing anything.
Did it move at all?
No.
I don't know if it works. Maybe that's our boost lead. That's the gauge. Let's see what we can do here. We're gonna roll into it on this one. I saw 5 pounds at full boost there in second.
That hits second gear hard.
Dude, it shifts so crisp. Also, for sitting that long, it drives really good.
Yeah.
Like, it is dead smooth. The lag, though, is like days of lag. Okay, here we go. We'll try to brake boost this one in time to 0 to 60 again and see if it's any better. Last time I didn't brake boost very hard because there's no power brakes, so it's hard to hold it still. Exhibit A.
Smells like old oil and rat turds.
Take her back to the shop and keep poking around and see what we can find. How about that? All right, a few days have passed and I am finally back to work on the Grand National. In the meantime, we're working on a couple trucks we just got. You can check those videos out right here. And the weather has gone from yay spring to oh shit, it's summer. And it's been 95 degrees with humidity all week and I'm dying. But thankfully, this company right here has sent us a solution. This big, huge sumbitch is the Cool Boss, which is a subsidiary of BenPack themselves. That's right, once again, BenPack has came through to save the day. Those guys are freaking awesome, and this thing is an absolute beast. So if you're unfamiliar with swamp coolers or the way they work, there's basically a big water reservoir in the bottom down there. You can either fill that up with a hose or a bucket or whatever, or hook it up to a water source and it has its own float system and maintain its level all day. And then you turn this sucker on and it runs water through this big cardboard plate up front and makes all that wet. And then you have this big ass fan that pulls air through that and evaporates all the water in those cardboard fins. Basically operates just like a radiator, but with evaporative cooling. We had a ton of these in the Army and they were great overseas to stay cool, but they were all knobs and buttons. I have never seen one this fancy. As you can see, running all the water down, getting nice and wet. You have to lock it down, or it'll blow away. There it goes. Woo. So yeah, if you guys have a shop that is way too damn hot in the summer, check out BenPack's Cool Boss. This thing is an absolute game changer. Alright, so what we have here is the tool that's going to tell us everything when it comes to vacuum leaks and boost leaks. This is the Aotool smoke leak detector. I went on Amazon, bought this the other day. I think this one was like 150 bucks. It was the cheapest option they have. They have models that are much more complicated than this and have other features, but I don't see any reason to have them. Inside here is a reservoir full of mineral oil and a little compressor and a heating element. It burns the mineral oil to a smoke and blows it out of this tube. It comes with a ton of adapters and everything you need to seal off most of the large orifices. You're going to want to go ahead and seal off the intake. And usually people seal the intake and hook it up to the brake booster and feed the smoke through the brake booster, but I don't have one. And I also want to test the intercooling system to see if there's any leaks. So I've got our big ass cone fitting right here. We're going to hook this guy up. Now we're going to start pumping smoke into here. A little tip I learned from experience with this thing is when Amazon says frequently bought together and they have that machine and mineral oil, just go ahead and get it there. Otherwise you got to go down to Dollar General and get some mineral oil lubricant laxative. And I wasn't sure how much it took, so I'm walking out of there with like 2 of these things. And people are looking at me like, oh Lord, what brand is it? It's the Rexall lubricative laxatives. Rexall. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's fire this thing up and see how many leaks we have. It's gonna take a second to heat up and get working. And as you can see, it's gonna make plenty of smoke for us. There we go, that's what we want to see. Alright. Oh, check this out. The turbo is smoking like a chimney. It's this hose that they have. It's this connector hose. So that's a definite vacuum leak right there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off and move this guy to down here in hopes that we can find something else over there. Poof. Whoa. Do you even vape, bro? Yeah. Don't vape, kids. It's bad for your ego. There's one right there. See that? That's a vacuum leak. Oh, check this out. It's leaking right here. I would have never, ever known that this was a problem right here. Like, never. There's another tiny little pinhole back there. So I tracked down a few of the leaks. I got something kind of decent size coming from like the starter area, so that might be an exhaust leak. But I found one right here that's pretty damn large. I decided, oh hey, I should probably open the throttle. And I can hear it hissing. Look at the size of that leak. It's the throttle body shaft. So I'm gonna have to bush or replace that throttle body. Like, that is a huge, huge vacuum leak. We have a couple leaks back here in the exhaust leading up to the turbo. Oh my gosh, okay. Never mind, we have a ton of leaks here on the exhaust. That might be our boost issue. There's no damn air getting to it because all the donuts are gone. I've never touched this before. You can see there's a pretty sizable one on that collector right there, but that right there might be most of our problem. Look at that thing move. Huh. Well, let's pop that exhaust off. What do you say?
How am I driving, man?
I think we're parked.
Okay, so it's been like 3 weeks or something since I last touched this car. We've been busy as hell behind the scenes, and I have been to both coasts in the last like couple weeks. Anyway, I think we left off with we need to fix this mess, which, yeah, there we go, yeah. This mess. So let's go ahead and get these guys off and seal up this exhaust system. Obviously, we're going straight for the death wheel. All my fellow YouTubers will know the importance of what I just did right there. I just shut the swamp cooler off with the remote without leaving my chair in front of the camera. Anyway, I have our downpipe ready to come out. Come on now, little buddy. Come on. Oh wow, you are not a little buddy. This entire tube is like paper thin, so probably gonna have to replace this, to be honest. Looks like it's time to call the hookers. Sorry, hooker. This exhaust cell phone time. Alright, so I put our smoker right here on the exhaust side of the turbo and tried to seal off those open band clamp thingies. And sure enough, this side does have a crack in the header. So we're gonna just squeeze this guy right out of there. It's actually the easiest I've probably ever seen a set of headers come out. Oh wow, yeah, look at that. Huge crack all the way around that entire tube. I don't even know if that's repairable, to be honest. We're gonna do our best though. Holy shit. So that's definitely an exhaust leak, which will lose back pressure and lose boost. Okay, so I'm not gonna be able to reach this entire crack, all 360 degrees. I think I can get at least 300 of the degrees. And maybe try to pull this closed as well. We'll see. Then I have to blow through this extremely thin pipe. Alright, I'm gonna finish up this shit show. I'll let you guys know how it goes, if it goes. Alright, so we got our crack all welded up. I can take my flashlight at 1,000 lumens, go all the way around, and all over a whole bunch of different spots. I can't see a thing coming through anymore. It took me 2 or 3 tries to make sure that was all solid, but I think this is as good as it's gonna get, so let's put it back on the car. Alright, our header is welded. We've got all our surfaces cleaned. We're gonna put this new exhaust gasket on and slip her in there. A lot of these cars came without exhaust gaskets at all because they just magically fit because everything used to be flush back when they were new. But that ain't the case anymore, so that should help it seal, hopefully, and maybe we'll finally have boost. Alright, our header is reinstalled and properly sealed. There was an old gasket, it fell out below. I didn't see it down there. Looks like an old crush style, so interesting. Put this right in the garbage. I'm gonna go to Ace, get some hardware so we can bolt our cross tube back together and then put our downpipe, or what's left of it, basically a downpipe straight pipe to be honest, back in place, and we'll see if this thing builds any boost, finally. Okay, we got our smoker in, and we've got no smoke
from either of the joints. Okay, so I just noticed this while editing. There's literally like a freaking column of smoke rocketing out of that joint. I don't know how I didn't see it. I'm tired. Give me a break. I'll get it fixed. I took a piece of brake line and wrapped it around and fit it to that hose and used that to catch the cup, and then took the sleeve to catch that and give me another like quarter or a half inch of gap between those two collars, because the collars were hitting before the hoses would hit. So now everything's nice and tight. Oh, hot box in the Grand National. It smelled like smoked laxatives over here for like a week. All right, let's get this thing back together and see if it builds any boost.
I can hear a turbo on a rev now. Before it was just motor, so might do it. Burn a little bit of oil off the header here. We'll wait for that to clear up. Airing the tires. Give this thing a try. Well, while I was airing up the tires, it died, and now I have no battery. I think we don't have an alternator. All right, back under the hood. Alright, so a little time has passed. Went to town, tried to find an alternator, discovered that the Grand National alternator is one of one. It only fits a Grand National. No one has one in stock, and they're wildly expensive, so that'll be fun to find online and pay like $200 and a core for. In the meantime, we did discover we absolutely need a belt, we absolutely need an idler pulley, we need a radiator, because this one's cracked right there, as you can see. So that's a lot of fun. Won't be driving this more than we need to. We've charged the battery up to about 85%, charged the booster pack, and we're going to hop in the car and drive for as long as the battery lasts, and then bring the booster pack home. Okay, here's our boost gauge. If we build boost, this needle should bury somewhere over here. We're gonna wait till we get out of town though. Oh, our battery's cutting out. And it's dead. Oh, damn it. Made it all the way here. Well, let's hope that doesn't melt. This should be fine. Everything's fine. We just need one pass. That's it. It's really hard to brake boost. Still no boost. Damn it. Are you kidding me? We got all that, we got 1 pound more. Oh. This car's still reasonably quick for only 5 pounds of boost. Into it a lot quicker, so that's good. There's so much stuff in my eyes. It certainly feels like we made a difference, but it's still not fixed. Alright, let's get this back to the shop. Alright, so we're going to actually have to end this episode here because I am absolutely out of time. There's not really a set deadline on this car, but other projects have a very, very close set deadline that we need to focus on instead of this one. I want to see down in the comments, what do you guys think is the reason this thing's not building boost? I have not tested the wastegate yet, besides the fact that it does move, so it should be springing closed, so I wouldn't think that'd be an issue unless it leaks. I also have throttle body seals that I need to put in yet that I totally forgot about until right about now. And there's also still that little leak over there on the driver's side header, but I would have to replace the headers. Nobody makes them, at least that I knew of. So if anyone's got hooker headers, passenger side specifically, let me know. So yeah, down in the comments, what do you think the issue is? Why do we not have anything more than 6 pounds of boost at wide open throttle under load? As for now, I'm going to dig back into the Le Mans. We've got a whole bunch of suspension and engine work, and wait a second, there's actually one thing I need to do first. I consulted with a guy here in town who used to run these, and he said, send me a picture of the turbo, and I did, and he said, no, that actually does have an adjustable wastegate. I don't know why I was thinking it was going to be something a little more modern looking than a rod with a nut on it, but that there is the adjustable wastegate. And what I need to do is shorten that rod for more boost. Let's try it. Alright, so Paul said 1 turn makes a difference. 5 turns makes for fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So something I noticed while I was adjusting that was if you adjust it eventually, it puts preload on the spring in the wastegate actuator diaphragm thing. And there was a little bit of slack. So I gotta wonder, was it not tight and it was able to just blow open and burn off boost? This might be the fix. Yes, go, go! Ah, it made a difference. It went past 6. So let's try it again here. But I think I can get out, give that another turn, and we can build some more boost. Six and a half. All right, let's stop, make an adjustment, and see if it makes another change. 2 turns. Ooh, really gotta stretch it onto there. Unfortunately, my E-clip went flying. This thing goes through some gas. Like 3 gallons, 2 trips, in 4 miles. We got a car coming, but I think we can make it because we got a turbo. Oh, I hope so. Makes 7 psi. So what I think is happening is we're using this as a band-aid to close that wastegate harder. So in the next episode, I'm going to take that wastegate apart and try to clean it up. But I don't think she's sealing. That made the biggest difference so far. Welding up the entire exhaust made the same amount of difference as tightening the wastegate a half a turn. So now we're going to cut this one. I want to see down in the comments what you guys think the issue is and how we can get more boost out of this car. If anyone's got a Grand National for sale, email me, junkyarddigs1@gmail.com. I would love one of these that was properly functional. I think that'd be an awesome car to have. If you guys haven't already, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel grow. It helps us get more fun projects and it helps us afford fixing more of other people's cars to put smiles on their faces. Subscribe to Junkyard Mook and the rest of our friends. We'll see you guys right here next week. Peace. I literally said out loud, well, at least her alternator's working. And then the car died. And I can't get the refire. Alright. We'll see you guys next episode.